I'm to Oracle, and today we're starting the cups with the Thoth Reader's Course. This is where we oversimplify the Thoth cards and get you to where you can read with them. Because the number one complaint I hear is, I love the look of the cards, but I just can't read with them. Let's fix that. If you want a more thorough explanation of the cards, this is a link in the description for someone who's doing a fantastic job, 30 to 40 minutes per card. So today we're doing the cups. I want you to notice before we start the overflowing, the overflowing, the overflowing, and then we get into just this barren, like no flow, right? Just dried up cups. Everything has gone bad, sort of, not as overflowing. And then we have an overflowing of bad, right? Same here, we have dried up here, and then we have a flow down through here. So you really get this meaning of the cards from how the water's flowing, like this one. You have this major happiness and this beautiful overflowing, and everything is going fantastic, and things like this. So just keep in mind, one of the things to look for if you're looking for, obviously, that's not a good card, and that's going to be a better card, but look at the difference between how these go and use that in your readings. Now we have this beautiful overflowing card. Number one today, by the way, is called Love, and it means indeed love. So you're looking at love and this overflowing. We have the dolphins here, and we have Venus within Cancer, so that never can go wrong, right? We have this beautiful feel, this beautiful thing of love and this happiness and pleasure and things like that. So very good sort of harmony or harmonious card that we have going. And the original title is Lord of Love, right? Venus in Cancer. This is going to be a sort of a good feel card, a good card to have with any relationship reading especially. So we have a new relationship. How's that relationship going to go? Well, you're going to have love. We have this new relationship. It's love. I met someone. I don't really know anything about this person. How is that going to go? Again, that's going to go love. You're going to have this fantastic thing come out of it, and everything is going to go good. Now, you could have blockages like interference. You remember the gates, sort of that gate feeling that we have here. We have that right here. You could have interference with love. Everything in love is not going well. Or perhaps we had interference and then caused the love to go sour. Or we met someone. What kind of feeling do we have? Well, we don't exactly have love because it's now upside down. So we do have this sort of love marriage feel. Now, obviously, the Two of Cups always sort of means the relationship type love. So love for your home or something like that. Probably less so with this card compared to other cards, but it's always a great card to have in any reading, as you can see from the Rider-Waite Tarot as well, that we have the same sort of feeling. So sort of comes down to that, to love that everything is going good, especially with Venus in Cancer. So that's more of a family love or a group love type thing, a very stable, a very good astrological association as well with this particular card. So that is the Thoth card of love. And the next card we have is abundance. Now, I want you to sort of know that you have this eternal cycle going through these cards. So we have the water coming out of the petal up top, but it's being filtered down into the bottom. So all of the flow of water and the flow of abundance is getting sort of piped back up into here like plumbing to where it's getting filtered back into the cups. So you have this eternal cycle, and I want you to sort of remember that when you remember abundance. We have that eternal cycle going. It never ends, right? It's getting fed from the bottom to the top, back down to the bottom, back to the top. So that feeling of abundance means it sort of never ends. This is happiness, pleasure, the Three of Cups, hospitality, dancing, merriment, etc. And you have that over here with the Rider-Waite as well that you can see. But I think it's important to know that you have this eternal cycle of abundance. It's not like it's going to run out or it's not going to be there tomorrow. Abundance means that it's doing well, unlike the later cards that we'll talk about where everything has dried up and there is no longer abundance. So you'll notice in these, you also sort of have that piping as well, or that the pipes going back and forth between the feel of the cards and things, but there's no water running through it and it's run dry. But in this particular one, we have this everlasting feel of abundance. So this is Mercury in Cancer, and sort of that communication of abundance as well. So we have that Mercury feel over here with all of the friends and all of the pleasure and drinking and things like that. And again, we have this nice flow within the card talking about abundance. So abundance could mean a variety of things when you talk about it into a reading. Maybe you have an abundance of love. Maybe the last card, right? Maybe you have an abundance in your home situation where everything is abundant and everything is going well at home and all of that other stuff. Now we have the reward card. You remember the diamond being lifted up by the helicopters, the diamond being lifted up. We have a reward and it's coming from abundance. So maybe at work they got some extra money and maybe they're giving it to us. Yeah, no fantasy, right? But maybe at work everything went well, we had this nice project, everything went perfect, and we're getting rewarded for that because we have abundance. We have this attitude of abundance, so we have this love of abundance. And it's coming through because we have an abundance of that particular thing. Now we could have interference with abundance as well. So maybe abundance is upside down, we don't have as much abundance as we could, and we have the interference card that's blocking getting that abundance. So we have interference here, and then we have abundance maybe upside down or even turned right side up. We could have a blockage coming into abundance, and that could be bad as well. So now we met a man who has abundance. Maybe we have a guy who has quite a bit of money or resources or something like that. So it's that feel of abundance or feel of plenty or feel of that, again, that merriment, that partying, that joy and things like that. Maybe we have peace. You remember the peace sign, peace. We have peace and we have brought peace from a troubled times. So let's say we had troubled times. And now we have peace from the troubled times, and so now we are moving into abundance. So we have good news for the future. So we have that feel of bad over to good. So abundance is going to be a great card in any reading, and obviously that's going to be a place where you really want to be as far as the early cups. All of the early cups are this really good feeling. And again, watch the flow and watch the cycle of where the water is going within these cards. So the next card is Moon in Cancer. That moon is giving it sort of that moody feel, maybe the not quite right feel, but this is about getting gifts from others or getting kindness from others or getting things from other people. And within that, you're sort of burned out. We have that burned out feeling of maybe I don't want it, maybe this is not the right thing for me. Maybe this is not something that I'm comfortable with. So this card is called Luxury, and Luxury is a two-faced type card, or two factors type card. One, we have this gift coming in, but the gift that's coming in is sort of getting stifled, you can see. The water is not overflowing, like over here with abundance, for example. You'll see the water is just flowing. We have this eternal flowing water. The water is flowing and it's going back to the pool at the bottom. But then over here the water is stifled. It's going into these big cups and it's stopping. So that's important because this sort of has that bad mood feel, that very moody feel to it, as you can see from the Rider-Waite. It is a very moody card with that rich well, it's called the Lord of Blended Pleasure, but it's about getting kindness from others or great things from others. However, it has a sort of a downside to it. And again, that's why the water is being sucked up by the bowls or the cups on the bottom. The water is getting stifled, the water is getting stopped, and it's not flowing down to the water. You don't have that beautiful movement that you have within something like abundance, for example. So it's a bit of good news and bad news at the same time. So it's good news to get gifts from others, and it is called luxury, but maybe we have cruelty. You remember cruelty? So the blood dripping, maybe we have luxury. We have all these good things, but it's almost, remember, cruelty is almost like a self-cruelty, being cruel to yourself or not being true to yourself or being bad in many ways with the self. And we have that feel here coming from obviously luxury, but the luxury feel is being stifled, and maybe it could be turning into cruelty. Maybe we could have a good news, bad news situation with a guy that we just met. So we just met this handsome fellow, and the handsome fellow has luxury after him. So it could be good news, bad news. Again, could be gifts from others. It could be maybe too many gifts, a little too much on the gift side. Maybe everything is not as grand as we originally thought it was. Maybe everything is not as great as we originally thought it was, etc. But we could have that feel of negativity towards the end. So we could have a bad news, good news, bad news situation. So obviously, if we just met a cute guy, we would like to have love right after that. But the reality is sometimes we have a good and bad mixture within many people that we meet. So that's what a takeout from this is. You'll notice it's being stifled. Again, the cups are sort of absorbing that. And maybe it could be great gifts that we have, that we're getting the gifts, but maybe we're not too happy about it. Or maybe this is something that's not in the realm of great enjoyment that we would have within something like the ever-flowing love, for example, where the water is reaching the bottom. So again, this is not the best card, but it is a good card. It's sort of a down, moody card. Maybe we have a down, moody person or somebody who's going to have good news and bad news, but always an interesting card to have within a reading, and remember that it's called luxury. And now the next card is called Disappointment with Mars in Scorpio. Now remember, Mars is the warring planet. It's an action-packed planet, but it's a planet of war. So that is inside of Cancer. So we're bringing, sorry, not Cancer, it's inside of Scorpio. So we're bringing that Scorpio sort of, I'm going to sting you if you disappoint me, or I'm going to sting you if you make me mad. And we have that warring sign, and we have the number 5. So this is trifecta of negativity within here with Mars and Scorpio. So again, look at the water flow. The water, again, has dried up. There's no beautiful moving water. This is not something that's going to be fantastic. And this usually means a loss. So this sort of means a not only disappointment, but a loss in maybe marriage or a loss in love or something like that. So if you see that in a reading, we could have a loss in love or disappointment, and we just met this guy. So tell me about this guy. Well, it looks like maybe he just got a divorce. Maybe he just broke up with someone. We have a loss of love, a loss of marriage type feel, a dried up emotions, a warring type feel that we have coming into this man. So if we have a new man and we have this before him, could be looking at maybe he recently got a divorce. Maybe we had the 4 of Cups with luxury, and luxury sort of turned into disappointment. Again, we have that stifled water flow. The stifled water flow turned really negative, and now we have a loss. Maybe the loss led to cruelty. You remember the cruelty card? Maybe that went to cruelty and everything was bad. We also could have a loss, and then afterwards we have peace. You remember peace? So we have a loss of something, everything's negative, and then we move into a peaceful situation. So we've come to grips with the loss. Maybe we're in the recovery stage of the loss at this point as well. So maybe we have a loss and it's interference. The loss is interfering with what we want to do. So we are, let's say, looking for love, for example, and the loss is interfering with love. So again, we have a loss of something, a loss of emotion, a loss of a marriage, maybe a loss of a love, and it's interfering with our ability to find a new lover, or it's interfering with our ability to form a relationship. So we have that stifled feeling coming from the disappointment card into a blockage or interference of some type, the interference for a new love. So definitely not a good card. Again, we have this trifecta of negativity within here. We have the cups, the ever-flowing cups that are now dried up. Definitely don't have that beautiful love card anymore. The water is now dried up, and we're looking at disappointment because that is the name of the card. So we did a very negative card, but keep in mind, again, it's easy to remember that you lost something because you lost all that water flow, and the water flow is just not there. Now, in later cards, we do still have a flow, but it's a negative flow, or it's a stifled flow to where everything is not flowing naturally and purely. And here, you really don't want the poison flowing through. But for here, the flow has completely stopped, again, because of the loss, but we started the recovery process, etc. So not the best card to have in a reading, but as with everything Thoth, there's good and there's bad, and it does not shy away from the negativity, just like, obviously, the Rider-Waite as well. That's not a great card, so kind of you get the same type of feeling in here as well, except this is, I think this is more descriptive than this. I mean, obviously this is disappointment as well. Everything has gone bad. But here you sort of understand, based upon that water flow, of how everything is going or how everything is moving as far as emotions go. We don't have that free flow of emotions. We don't have that stifling of the free flow of emotion. We just have loss. So that is disappointment. And as always, I'd like to thank my Patreon supporters who donate money to me to keep my quest going. My quest is simple. I want to teach you tarot, Lenormand, I want to teach you Kipper, I want to teach you everything that I possibly can. Astrology, obviously, as well. And they help me by supporting me and helping pay for the software that I use and all the fancy effects you see and the microphone that I'm using, etc., etc. So my current Patreon supporters, thank you so much. They are Allie Cat, Annie Lemaster, Carolyn Borchard, Crystal McGinn, Gary Fink, Hot Chocolate, Janet Littler, Jessica Mante, KSW, La Ami, Peter, Richard Zeh, Scott Miller, Shintaro Kuga, SJP, and Tina Iovero. Thank you so much. You can find a Patreon link in the description if you're interested in helping me out as well. If not, that's fine too. I would just ask, please hit like and subscribe. It gets more traffic to the channel. It gets more exposure to all the fun things that I do on the channel. Thank you so much for watching.